Dang it. You in.
The first story Klaus told us about was a group of 3 men in the town of Hinch who were going around raping women and children in the town. And in a town the size of Hinch, Klaus just told us that you can't really keep secrets. So when the lynch mobs go out to get their guy, they always find the right person. They know everybody. So what they did was they got a hold of the first guy and beat him to death. And then with the second guy, they lynched him and burned him. And apparently the third guy got away. The other story Klaus told us was about a man who stole and ate a family's pigs, and how the town formed a lynch mob and went after this guy. And I guess you think, oh, somebody ate a pig, that's not a big deal. But in Haiti, pigs are they're just like a savings account or a piggy bank. What a family does is they buy a pig and fatten it up, and then over time, as it gets bigger, they sell it to the butcher, and they take that money and they use the money to put their kids to school. So really this man had stolen a family's education for their kids. And what happened was they basically formed a mob, and I just picture it being this mass of people at night under this tree with torches and everything, and I'm sure it's a horrible scene. But Klaus told us that when he drove up onto the scene, he kind of heard about what's going on, and he knew why the lynch mob was there to get this guy. And he figured that for a pig, you don't need to lynch somebody, and I agree with him. So what he did was he pulled up in his white, UN Land Rover with the big black UN letters stamped on the side, and he just drove straight into the mass of people, grabbed this guy, pulled him in the passenger door, and drove off. And he saved that guy from being burned. He said they were just waiting on the gasoline to get him, and he drove in there and grabbed him and drove off. But yeah, just a crazy story. I can't believe he did that. The last story that Klaus told us was about a drug trafficking operation going on 10 kilometers north of the town of Hinch. And Klaus went over there and took pictures of the manufacturing of the drugs and the airstrip where they were shipping the drugs out, and he gathered all this information. And when he looked into it further, he figured out some interesting facts about who was running the drug operation. It turns out that a senator in the Haitian government was the figure behind the drug trafficking operation. And I think at first Klaus thought this was groundbreaking information for people, but apparently everybody in the town of Hinch knows that's going on. Everyone in the town knows that there's a government official running an illegal drug operation. Klaus can't actually do anything about this situation because the Haitian government, the senator running the drug trafficking operation, is responsible for getting the UN over to Haiti in the first place. The Haitian government voluntarily calls in the UN to be a police force for their country. So if all of a sudden the UN brings up information about how the Haitian government is so corrupt they're running a drug trafficking operation, all the Haitian government has to do is kick the UN out, and that's the solution to the problem. So Klaus and the UN can only clean up so much of Haiti. Haiti's a very complicated situation.